So hey, we actually got past the most difficult platforming. It's just the timing on those jumps is really difficult, and you need to like use your like flight glide stalling to get enough airtime because it's an auto scroller as well. So it's a very tricky segment. I died several times on my first playthrough, and you had some patented Minsk rage there, some Minsk tilting when I played this on my first go. So I'm actually happy that I was able to just flow through it today while rambling about my Osseo Strix Otus fan theory in the meanwhile, and do it that well with only just a couple of deaths there. Yeah, happy with how that turned out. Ooh. Oh my. So this is the final hex, I guess. The other hex. Oh my. Yeah, so we can fly again because the accelerated rising levitation is counteracting the reduced atmosphere, if you guys are wondering why we're able to fly again. Uh-oh. Ooh. That's no good. Things just powering up over there. Oh, look at this space stuff over here. Getting a little sci-fi here again. Looks like we're an hour in, but yeah, we're at the end here, so we're gonna go long today, guys. Oh, look at that. One last fruit growing here, a golden apple growing in space. It's a magic fruit that tops you off, obviously. I call it the top-off fruit. You knew it was coming, and you know what's coming next. This is actually spoilers. This is actually the final battle, so let's get groovy, as owls are wont to do. That's the hex, right? That's what we saw rise up, that plinth there.
Huh? How did you get up here?
Never mind that, Soulless. Quickly, we have to...
No. I've told you already. I'm not interested in what you have to say.
But...
I'm using the relics. That's all. I'm nearly finished here. Please don't get in my way. For this loop and every loop that will come.
See, there he calls it out that the loop is like a repeating thing, but as far as I can tell, this hex is supposed to interrupt it.
I call upon the power of the hex relics. I told you, don't disturb me. I'm at a critical stage in the process. Move us back into one
Whoa! Man, look at... This is the angriest Otus has been in the whole game. Look at him. He does not want this.
What are you doing? Have you gone mad?
Snap out of it, Soulless. The relics are too dangerous. Have you forgotten what happened in Advent? No one can use them. Ever. We have to destroy them.
You have to see sense, Soulless. We will help you avoid the pirate retribution, but please stop this. Using the relics for power will only make things worse.
That's right! We'll stop you if we have to.
I don't have time for this. I've been telling you guys to leave me alone. I gave you lots of chances, but it's clear that you guys don't understand. So I guess I just have to make you leave.
Did you think he'd be the final boss? 'Cause he is! Let's go! What you got, Soulless? Oh, he's got a lot. Oh, now I don't know if you guys have noticed, the 3 relics, they're colored green, red, and blue. Now we happen to have a green, red, and blue guy in our team. So this is, you see we already removed the green relic there by using our friend Geddy and his green gun. This is one of those bosses where you have to use all of your equipment. to beat him, which is good stuff. I like it. Go. Hasta la bye-bye. Come on, eat it. Just take that. Uh-oh, phase 2.
This isn't even my final form!
So now we get to just cycle through all our guys, so that's the cool part. Still got all the relics on him. Yeah, green relic. Oh! Look at that, he's using Otus's spins.
I learned this from Strix himself.
Now we gotta try and get the blue relic off. Okay. Got the... Oh! Oh, I did that the first time as well. I'm such an idiot. Oh, this one's the tough one. I screwed this one up so many times. Just like Dirk, this pattern KOs me. Eat it! So of course the musket, since it's got such a short time on it, it just blows him in one shot. You done yet? You... Oh. Okay, cool! I guess we gotta keep doing this. So now, I believe, yeah, he's internalized them. Doesn't matter what we use now, it's just, I guess this is now just your preference. Ah, no, I blew it again. Whoop. Come on. Eat it. Oh, crap. Oh, I think I'm supposed to, dodge roll through that. Ow. Ah, Jesus. Oh, no, which one's the real one? Damn! This is actually really, really tough. Gotcha! Okay, not this time, buddy. I'm gonna dodge those. Yes!
No! I can't move.
Now you listen to us! Stop this power crazy stuff! Using the relics is gonna get people hurt!
No, you're wrong. I'm trying to help.
By using the relics? Don't you remember Advent? Those things are weapons!
No! 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 That's not what the relics were made for. That's just how Molstorm used them.
Huh.
Please explain, Solus.
I didn't want to tell you this, but I need you to understand. I'm gonna tell you of the great shame of the owls. The Hex and the anti-Hex. The relics were created long ago, when the owls lived at the planet's surface and the floating islands did not exist. Owl technology was beyond our imagination, and the owls studied the deeper secrets of the universe. The relics were made after the owls made a fateful discovery. A discovery that sent owl society into infighting and chaos. The loop. What is the loop? I'm not certain, but the owls were obsessed with it. They worked for centuries in a desperate struggle to find a way to end the loop. Finally, they found a solution. A hex that would alter the laws of nature to end the loop forever.
Have you noticed all those infinity symbols throughout the game? Doesn't that seem like it's been foreshadowed this whole damn time? Isn't that kind of neat?
The relics were designed to be the fuel for the Hex. Centuries after they were made, the owls were finally ready for their Hex.
So, what happened? Did the Hex work?
It was the biggest disaster in the history of the planet. I don't even know if the Hex broke the loop. That should have been the least of their worries. The Hex backfired, shattering the planet's continents into floating islands in the sky.
Yeah, it wasn't always like this. That's kind of a neat twist, ain't it?
And the planet was reduced to a giant empty ocean. And the islands are still rising. You must have seen it outside. The world is ending. Time is running out. In a matter of days, we'll all have risen to cold, unbreathable space.
But the anti-hex. You mentioned something about an anti-hex.
This library was built to find a way to bring the planet's expansion under control and reverse it.
Okay, so I was kind of talking out of my ass earlier. The loop was not causing the islands to rise. The loop was some entirely different problem. The hex is what's causing this disaster we're in at the moment. So, okay, cool. I forgot about that. I could remember all the facts, sorry. But it's good we're playing this again, so I'm getting this again. Like, getting a better appreciation for what the plot was. So yeah, that's like the big unresolved mystery if you don't get all those coins, is what was the loop then?
When I found it, I learned that the owls created relics which have been absorbing power for centuries. Now they are ready to be used for the anti-hex, which will bring the islands back down to the ocean. That is what I'm preparing.
A part of me is kind of sad because I love Sky Island's aesthetics to, you know, just make a normal world again, but, you know, it's for the best of everybody. Otherwise everyone dies. So, yeah. Obviously we gotta do this.
An anti-hex to save the world.
Man, you should have told us, Solus. Why did you try to do this all on your own?
I didn't. I got the pirates to help me by promising them power.
Tricking the pirates led to the destruction of Advent, Solus.
Yeah, see, going back to those mistakes, here's Solus's big mistake, is not trusting his friends here. I guess that's kind of also a bit of a theme in this game. It's not as prevalent, but like this whole, like, don't go at it alone. You gotta trust in others, like, kind of, I guess. But anyway, the big theme of mistakes making up for them. This is now Solus's mistake.
I didn't know of anyone who I could trust.
Let us help you finish this anti-hex. Come on, Solus. What do we have to do?
You just have to... Oh no! Is that...
Owlboy! You traitor! I'm coming for you!
You know he's coming, baby! You thought he wouldn't be here for the finale? Oh shit! He's ruining the dreadnought to attack us.
Oh no!
Oh man, oh man!
The captain is here!
Look outside! Holy shit! The world is... It's all coming apart!
Oh no, the hex is over there, the anti-hex. You saw it outside, it's been flung outside by the dreadnought's impact. Holy, this is insane the way things are coming down now.
You have run out of with my relics, Owlboy. You dare betray me!
I haven't betrayed you, Molstorm. I'm trying to save you and everyone else. I'm trying to prevent the planet from being destroyed.
Oh my god, look at him! Freaking Otus! Ow!
No! Otus! Are you alright?
Oh! So you're saving the world, is that it? Why would I care if the planet is destroyed? Give the relics back to me now.
But please, I can't.
Oh jeez.
Otus, take this.
What the? The relics? For Otus?
Power up.
What happened? Is Master Otus breathing?
Yes!
Good. Get him out of here. I'll keep the captain at bay. Hurry, Master Geddy! Twig!
Look at Alphonse heroing up!
I can't hold him for long!
We have to get Otus up!
Ugh.
Shit!
Hurry up and get away, Otus! We'll hold him back! Twig, follow me!
Hurry, Otus! Look at these guys! Remember how scared we were in the past of Molstorm, and now they're just heroing it up?
Otus! We can't run away! Please, I can't move! You have to complete the anti-hex! Repair the totem! Hopefully that will be enough.
Come on, Otus! Oh my god. This is like Guns of the Patriot combined with Infinity War, combined with, I don't know, everything that's awesome. I love this part of the game. And I love that the final battle against Molstorm isn't even a battle. He's too powerful for us to just straight up fight. So here we go, baby. The final challenge. It's restoring the totem before Molstorm destroys us. Oh, man. Come on. I think that should almost do it. He's still coming. Just a little longer, guys. Oh, no. It's so powerful. The totem. We got it. We got flight, baby. Come on. And that's ignition.
Otus, get out of there!
No! Otus! Otus!
The anti-hex. It's emerging from his body. But is he...
So, this is what your treachery is about. You think this is enough to stop me? I'll crush this little hex of yours.
That's so good. He gets his comeuppance.
Otus! Somebody help Otus!
And if someone in this game deserves his comeuppance, it's probably him. He's got kind of a sad backstory as well, but, you know, because he was a machine built only for fighting and he was left without a purpose. Like, that's kind of his background. But the fact that he has no remorse, no redemption, no like want to make up. That's why that's why Molstorm most certainly does not get to make up for his mistakes. That's the big dividing thing. Anyway, wow.
Otus! How has school been lately? I hear Asio might take you under his wing soon. You're so lucky, Otus.
So remember that nightmare sequence at the start of the game? Which was awful and, you know, almost gave me nightmares. Well, this is bookends.
Hi, little Otus. Want to drop by my place sometime with Fib and Bonacci? We'll play drums till the sun sets.
Hi there, young'un! Want to join me in the hot spring? No? You're a hard worker, Otus. Just like the other owls. Otus, do say hi to Lydia and Scops for me. I hear you'll be studying under Osseo soon. He handpicked you, I heard, and I'm glad he did. I think you two will be a great fit.
Otus, I'm glad you're doing well. You don't recognize me? It's me, Solus. Listen, I don't know if you think of me as a friend, but I always thought of you as my only friend. I hope the next time we meet, it'll be under different circumstances. There's so much I want to tell you.
Welcome, Otus. I'm very glad to see you again. You're probably wondering where you are. You're not dreaming. You're seeing visions of the past, and the future, and from today. You may not remember any of it, but it is real. You grew up with good people, Otus, full of affection for you and hopes for your future, and regret for things said and done. These visions are our gift to you. The truth, I think, is often the greatest gift, especially since people are so prone to forgetting the things they should cherish most. You must have many questions. Come, sit down.
Is everyone going to be okay? Getty, Alphonse, Twig, and all the rest?
Yes, Otus. You succeeded out there. The fact that you're here means that the anti-hex worked.
What will happen now?
The islands will be sinking. Your generation will know the surface as we did. Thanks to you, the world will be whole once again. It will be difficult to adjust to life on the surface after all this time.
Oh my god, look at the background, the islands are dropping.
But it will be overcome. I hope you don't blame us for what we've put you through. We tried to change the universe, and we paid a price for that. You paid that price too. In order to end the loop, we were willing to do anything. Even risk our future, your present.
I'm not sure I understand.
It doesn't matter. All you need to know is that we wanted to discover the nature of the universe, and in doing so we lost ourselves. Maybe one day, in this life or the next, you will learn about the loop. But there are far more rewarding things to learn about the universe than how it ends. You're probably worried that this is the end for you. Don't worry. In this world we've created, there is always a second chance. Our time is up. And I know I'm not the only one, but I've always believed in you, Otus.
yeah. I'm kind of getting the feels at the moment, so I'm gonna try to hold it together here. I don't know. It's not that bad, but like yeah, this gets me. Kind of. Because that was Owlboy. Shit, what a fantastic game. Gonna give me an applause right here. I don't know, cause like, it seems like it seems on the surface like it's not anything crazy. Like it's just a nice game. Like it's just a nice indie game. Like it's really good, works well, cool stuff. But I don't know what it is about it. It is elevated for me. I adore this game so much. Oh my, I'm getting choked up again. Sorry. I'm really not that like shook. But it's, yeah, I don't know. It's just really compelling, the story in this. Yeah, it's one of my favorite games. Definitely, Owlboy. It's so good. Wow, there were a lot of people working on this. There's those 6 people I mentioned because there's all these people in the band. My apologies to all those people in the band who I did not mention. And all these testers, sure, okay, I'm so sorry for not taking these guys into account when I went through the D-Pad Studio guys at the first episode. Okay, yeah, it's time for the classic Minsk and Friends review of the game. Yeah, so yeah, overall, it is incredible game. The story is by far the strongest part of this game because, as you've seen, I've talked about oh my god, all these people, memory of, my goodness. I've talked so much about the themes and like what certain like character motivations and like events, like what they all mean in part of the story. Oh man. The world is at peace at last. What about Otus though? What about him indeed? I'll leave that up to you guys. But yeah, the story is so incredibly good. Maybe you'll maybe feel differently. The fact that some of the backstory is gated behind those collectibles, it's a nice incentive to do Metroidvaniaing around and get all the coins. But like it is maybe a little annoying that you don't get all the background if you just play regularly. But I feel like this is one of those cases where the parts that's supposed to be a mystery are kept a mystery well enough, and you have a good enough like understanding of what you need to understand. Like Solus's final monologue there telling about the loop and the hex is enough to fill in the necessary blanks. The missing blanks are then just the remaining blanks are then just like the mysteries that you can fill in yourself to try and figure out, or you can collect those coins and maybe some of them will be elaborated on. The characters are all great. There's a stellar cast of characters. I absolutely adore them. Maybe the gag of Buccaneer abusing her, like, the Bogwins, were they? Her Prinnies. Maybe that's like a little, like, but nah. It's a little mean, but I don't know. The only problems I have with the story are those, like, tiny little details that I mentioned. Like, nothing... No comeuppance for Fib and Bonacci is a little annoying. And the major problem is Twig, again, like his like redemption arc happens kind of late in the game. And it seems they like really go really quickly through his like whole backstory and everything on Mesos. So I feel like that's like maybe Twig being part of the cast in general, I think is the big stumbling block of this game, story and gameplay wise. I feel like D-Pad felt a little obligated that they had to have 3 party members. Or they just, they felt that, there needed to be one more character there, The game would have been very short if all those Twig segments weren't in there. So, but I feel like there was a bit of struggle to like better implement Twig in the story and the game. Like, well, the story was well thought out, but the fact that we kind of blazed through his whole backstory as a stick bug on Mesos, it's the gameplay is it's so weird. Like, I'd say the gameplay is not terrible, but it's like the weakest part of this game. And I know there's a lot of people who are like, how can he possibly say the gameplay is the worst part and then keeps throwing all these superlatives for this game? Well, the story and the presentation are so freaking tight that I'm so in love with this that I can excuse some problems with the gameplay there. Twig is gameplay-wise also, his gimmick of like bungeeing, it comes so late in the game and you don't get a huge amount of use from it just to get a couple of obstacles past. So like he's not well integrated. Like I said, like the struggle to have that third power up in the game, it feels like a little at the end of the game, like a little for being one of the 3 like major power ups. On top of that, I'm thinking here, like I said, the controls are a little fiddly at times. Some of that can be chalked up to me being bad at games, so absolutely, if you feel differently with me about this, that's probably what's going on. But my impression was that I realized what the problem actually is. It's because the game is very leisurely for the most part. It's a very chill game. So you're kind of at a very chill pace for most of the time. So when you get those boss fights and those like quick action sequences, I feel like I'm not like so like not used to thinking quickly on my feet in the game because of all the leisurely pace, which means I then kind of panic a little bit and do start going through all the wrong buttons. Coupled with that, there's so many like overlapping functions, you know. Hitting X twice will make you fly, but just jumping and holding the stick up will also make you fly, so that's like oopsies. Then, like, you know, hitting triangle summons the guy who you've selected, but if you hit the L1 or R1, that'll cycle to a different character who also gets summoned into your hand, and then L2 is to drop a guy, and R2 is to throw things. So, like, so sometimes you're, like I mentioned, then you're put into a stressful situation like being chased by a giant robotic frog or a big boss fight against a guy, and you're like, maybe want to drop something, but then you end up accidentally just switching characters you're carrying, or like you want to jump, but you end up like spinning and all this like I said, like that's maybe a bit of a weak sauce complaint on my part. Because with enough practice, like you can get used to that. But given how short the game is, that's not a problem for me. This game's like perfect length for what it needs to be. But given how short the game is and how little there's like these segments too where you need to be acting on your feet, like I think the amount of practice to reward ratio is bad in that sense, and that's why it's a little frustrating playing with it. Otherwise, stuff like that final platforming challenge, that's fine. It's supposed to be the final area. It's supposed to be challenging. A lot of those bosses I struggled with, they're towards the end of the game, you know. They're supposed to be challenging. It's all good. The presentation, graphics, and sound are easily on par with the story and being fantastic. Like, that's honestly at first what drew me to Owlboy. Just like, oh my god, these pixel graphics and this nice soundtrack. And it's still true. It looks insanely good. I guess if you're not into pixel art, I guess this isn't really for you. I know there's been a deluge of indie games with like pixel art. I would say that Owlboy stands out of the pack with the detail. Like a lot of pixel games, not to rip on them too much, to roast them too much. I think it's a bit of a use of a pixel art as a crutch, because as indie studios, they can't go for super fancy graphics. So, like, they go for a simpler pixel look, a lot of games. And no. Like I said, I don't want to roast guys. It could also be that they're going deliberately for a older, simpler look. But it is a happy accident that it also makes it much easier to make graphics like that are simpler. Well, that's not fair either, because it's hard to work with minimalism. I'm sorry. I don't want to shit on people, but I'm just calling them out like I see them. But where I feel Owlboy differs is that there has been put so much time into these pixels. You can tell it in the detail and the animation, like how many extra animations there are for people like gesturing, and like the amount of like frames for animation and everything. Like that's why Owlboy, I think, is a cut above the rest. Is like this one, like they're not necessarily crutches in all those other games that I just mentioned. They might be just a stylistic choice, but there's that like chance that it might be that they just went for an easier graphic. Since this is so elaborate, the art in Owlboy, I think you can tell that this was not for crutch purposes. This was because the D-pad guys are just pixel art fanatics, and they want to share this love of beautiful, like, arcade era, SNK era, like, graphical look. And yeah, I find very little to complain about presentation. I did think of one complaint, but it's very minor. It's in the layout of the world. Sometimes the world feels very restrictive for what's like supposed to be like this vast open sky island world. Like the fact that you're boxed in so many areas kind of runs counter to that idea a little bit. It's not a big deal, but I do want to call it out. Because I did like ruminating on this game. I did have that feel sometimes that you feel a little boxed in. The feel of vastness, vast sky is a little artificial at times. Not like for like stuff like the floating continent, because the floating continent is supposed to be a giant cavern, obviously. But kind of the overworlds, Veli, Stratos, Tropos, those feel like they're a little smaller than they should be to convey this idea of this giant world. It's obviously a problem with any game that's trying to present a world while being not an open world game, but it feels a little heightened in this game. But that's a small quibble, all things considered. Like I said, most of my quibbles with this game are very small. Controls are like my biggest quibble. And that's a lot of personal stuff for me as well. So that's why, Owlboy, it's up there. It is such a lovely thing. It was just as good on my second go. I did not get that like, wow, this wasn't so good after all. This was just like, it was fantastic playing it again. Let's wrap it up with my favorites. My favorite protagonist. You might think it's Alphonse. It's actually Geddy. There's no way I can't put Geddy as the favorite protagonist. His life bro thing with Otus is so charming. And he gets just interesting, like, he has an interesting backstory. He's kind of a fraidy cat, and he's kind of a goofball, but he's also been in the army, so that's kind of interesting. His plot arc, when he has to deal with the destruction of Advent, and like he feels his partial responsibility, then when he like directs that anger on like everybody who he thinks is a bad guy, and who are bad guys, who are at fault, like the way he like becomes irrationally angry, and it leads to a falling out with Otus over Twig. But being true friends, it comes back with him like regretting that. It is like so incredibly like realistic, so believable. It's amazing, combined with like it's such a good like character arc, everything he goes through. He is such an inspiration, Geddy, in this game. He's the best. Geddy is so cool. I guess the only problem is that Alphonse's musket is way more cooler to shoot than his pistol, but like that's not a small thing, all things considered. But yeah, honestly, the cast is so good in this game. I'm not like saying like everyone else sucks and Geddy's the best. Like it's like Alphonse is like just a decimal off of Geddy or like stuff. Okay, now maybe I'm really exaggerating. It's not like everyone's that amazing, but there's great cast members in this. Alphonse, though, is my second favorite. Because, robot pirate, thespian, with a cool, like, turning against the villain's arc. that appeals to me a lot as well. Not as much as Getty. That's so good. My favorite villain, you can probably also guess. Didn't I mention it already? I spoiled it in that episode a couple episodes ago. Yeah, it's Dirk. Of course it's Dirk. He reminds me, like I talked about his like conflictions here, his flaws, but again, they're such a believable flaw. Like his denial is his biggest problem. His selfishness and his denial. It's really interesting. His relationship with Alphonse is so cool. Like that regret, like talking about mistakes and regretting those and wanting to make up for those. It's so close there with Dirk. Like that regret, that realization of his mistakes, it's just hiding there in the background, but he never like kind of punches through that final barrier to like realize his mistakes. And that's like really interesting to me. That's what makes him a tragic villain to me. He reminds me a little bit of, also the way he like is angry with Alphonse reminds me a little bit of Pavel in Metro Last Light, who I named as my favorite villain in that game. Because in his final encounter, both Pavel and Dirk, they're like, the way they blame the falling out on their former comrade, like, even though it's their fault. But you can, like, tell, like, in their point of view, they just can't understand why the other person doesn't see it their way. Like, they can't understand why Alphonse would be acting against them, why Artyom in Metro would be opposing Pavel. Like, why don't you see it things my way? Because they're, in their mind, they just can't themselves see things the other guy's way. And that's, like, really what makes them, like, an appealing, tragic villain, is, like, that, just that lack of understanding, a lack of perspective. They're still villains. Like, I don't, like I said several times in this game through, I don't want to excuse their actions, and I don't want to, like, let them get off easy, but, like, that's why I like them, because of that angle as a villain, is, like, that tragic, like, one stepping stone, and we could go on a road to redemption, but it doesn't happen. Molstorm never gets close to that, obviously. But, like, the tragic part is, I guess he's, like, an existential crisis, like I said, because he's a machine built for war, but, his purpose has been denied from him. But it's made him basically go crazy by the end of the game. So that's why, like, he's a good villain, obviously. You need just one proper big villain there, but, like, he's kind of one note in that sense. My favorite boss fight also was Dirk. It's just a really cool fight, and it's very, again, all that personal stuff between Alphonse and Dirk comes up. That Solus fight is a good second fight, like the fact that you go through all three characters blasting those relics off of him, and he's got cool patterns as well. But I think Dirk, just for like the context and the implications, just goes a little bit of ahead. And it's also super cool when you like manage to pull off that shooting his knives out of the air thing. Yeah. My favorite level is I don't know. They're all really good levels. But, okay, I think the Advent sequence just is super cool. Like I've said several times, I've gushed about that. It's just really neat. That, like, situation, you're in that huge conflict, it's just going on around you. That one, that for some reason makes me feel like you're in this huge situation. You don't feel constrained, like I said earlier about, like, the kind of constrained overworlds. That really gives the presentation that there's a crazy citywide battle going on, and you're just like one tiny person trying to make sense of it. But yeah, that's but just gameplay-wise, it was cool. You got to play as Anne and her cool club, a little guest party member. That was super fun. The stealth sequences are fun. There's cool helicopter fights. There's just good stuff there. It's just a good level. It's really cool. The funniest moment in the game is, I don't know, it's a simple thing, but the first time that you throw Getty against the wall and he goes sliding down, he has a unique animation where he smashes into the wall. It's so mean on Getty, but it's really funny. Like, it really establishes him as kind of the butt of the game and the butt of the joke. Poor Getty, but it's so funny. And Getty in general, the way he flails around is really funny. But like just like that little moment there, which impresses you, again, how much the developers have put love into animations and stuff. But also, it's just a little fun little thing. It's so neat. It's so good stuff. Okay, I could probably, not really. I could wrap this up now, and I'm gonna wrap it up. I could probably gush about weird speculation and like stories and whatnot. I gotta close it off here, guys. If you guys enjoyed this game as much as I did, please support D-Pad Studios. They have made an incredible game here. I think this is fantastic. I would recommend this heartily. I'm not sponsored in any way by them. I'm just like, wow, these guys are so cool, and they're like a little indie studio. I think they deserve props for this, for making something so cool as Owlboy. I really hope you guys. I probably sound like a maniac with how in love with this game I am. That's fair, but I hope you guys at least enjoyed this Let's Play anyway, because I think there's cool stuff in here for lots of players. So I hope it was as enjoyable. I hope you enjoyed some of my weird breakdowns here of the plot and stuff, my analyses. Hope it made some sense. Next time, probably not as crazy, like in depth, because I'm going to be playing a game that's blind for me again, but I think it'll be fun. We'll see how it goes. Hope you guys tune in next week for that then. See you. Bye.